We continue now at the top of Daf Tzadi Daladam and Beis and Meseches Bava Kamma. This is Bava Kamma Daf 94b. On the previous summit, we had a contradiction within Shmuel, whether Shmuel says Shino is Kona or not. And the Gemara now answers by changing what specifically Shmuel said. Shmuel said, Amru, that they say, Halacha Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar, the halacha is like Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar. Again, Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar is the one on the previous summit that says that Shino is not Kona. So Shmuel was just saying that they say the halacha is like Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar. However, V'leilo Sfirle, but he himself doesn't hold like that. He really holds that Shinoi is Kona. Rashi explains, Amru halacha Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar, Kolomar hachi amar Shmuel, meaning what Shmuel said was as follows: Yesh she'omer halacha Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar. There are those who say the halacha is like Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar, v'leilo svirle, but he himself, Shmuel himself, does not hold like that. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rabbi Chia bar Abba, Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Chia bar Abba says that Rabbi Yochanan says, Dvar Torah on a doraisa level, Gezelo hanishtanis choseres beina. Even if you have something that's stolen that undergoes a physical shinoi, still you return it as is. Shenemar, as it says in the pasuk, V'heshav es hagezela asher gazel. It says he returns that which he stole. Mikol makom, in any state, even if there's a physical change, meaning to say shinoi is not kona according to Rabbi Yochanan on a doraisa level. V'yim tomar mishnah seino. Now, if you're going to ask from our Mishnah says that you don't pay back the kalim, there was a physical change, rather you just pay the value of the wood which you stole. You see there is a concept of shinoi kona, so to that, mishum takonas hashavim, that's just again an institution to encourage people to return what they stole. If something is totally changed, it's improved, they're not going to want to return it as is, they'd rather return the value, the money the monetary value which they stole, and so to encourage people, that's why we say on a Rabbanon level, shinoi kona, but it's not something midoraisa. The Gemara says, Rabbi Yochanan hachi, but does Rabbi Yochanan really say that? V'yamar Rabbi Yochanan, but Rabbi Yochanan said, halacha is stam mishnah, that the halacha follows if we have a stam mishnah, if you have a mishnah that's not attributed to any particular tana, that's the halacha. Utanana, we learned in the mishnah, and we quoted this earlier, lo hispik litnu lo achet when we're talking about reishis hagez, let's say he didn't give those first shearings to the Kohen, and then the wool was already dyed, so there's a shinoi, so at that point in time, he's exempt from reishis hagez, that indicates that shinoi is kona, and that would seem to be even on a doraisa level. And the Gemara says to that, no, Amar Lahu, he said to them, Hahumi derabanan. That's just on a derabanan level. That is not something that is mido raisa. Rashi says, At shetzavo pater, again, if he died and he's pater legamri, he's totally pater. V'hacha takonas hashavim eina. Here you can't say it's a takonas hashavim. V'afilu hachi kani b'shinoi. Apparently there is a concept of shinoi kona, and again the Gemara says that is midirabanan. And the Gemara responds, Amar Lahu Hahumi Rabbanan Rabbi Yaakov Shemei, one of the Rabbanan, whose name was Rabbi Yaakov, he responded to them, he said to them as follows, Ledidi mefarshali mine de Rabbi Yochanan, to me it was explained in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, Kagon Shagazal Eitzim Meshupin, the case is, meaning the case of our Mishnah is that the wood that was stolen, it was already smoothed out, Vasan Kalim, and then it was made into Kalim, Tahavale Shinoi HaChozer Lebriaso, in that case it's a Shinoi, but it is a reversible Shinoi, and that's why in the Mishnah we say when we're talking about a Shinoi HaChozer Lebriaso, there we say that shinoi is not kona on a doraisa level, it is only midrabanan because of takonas hashavim, but if you would have a true shinoi, that would be kona even on a doraisa level. And Rashi explains that if he dyes the wool, then it's exempt. Legamri, it's totally exempt. And of course, over here you can't say it's a takonas hashavim. It has to be shinoi is kona on a doraisa level. Apparently shinoi is kona on a doraisa level. And then the Gemara answered, Masnis and Muki Rabbi Yochanan begozel eitzim meshubim. Rabbi Yochanan will say our Mishnah is talking about where he steals wood that has already been smoothed out. Misham hachi kam Rabbi Yochanan, the time of Misham takonas hashavim. With that's why Rabbi Yochanan said that kind of shinoi is only a takonas hashavim. It's only a derabbanan. The shinoi kihai lav shinoi, because such a shinoi on a doraisa level is not considered a shinoi. And the Gemara continues at the two dots. Tanu Rabban, and the rabbis taught, Hagazloninu malve beribis, those who steal or those who lend for interest, she'echziru, if they return what they stole, if they return the interest, ein makablan mehen, we don't actually accept it back from them. We don't allow them to return it. V'hamakablan mehen, and anyone who does receive it from them, ein ruach chachamim nocha himenu, the spirit of the chachamim is not pleased with him. And Rashi explains, Ein ruach chachamim nocha himenu, ein ruach chochma v'chasidus bikirbo. It means there's no spirit of wisdom and piousness within him. The Mefarshim do discuss why Rashi understands Ein ruach chachamim nocha himenu a little bit different than the traditional manner of understanding it. But in any case, the Gemara continues, Amar Rabbi Yochanan says, Bimei Rebbe nishnis mishnazu. This brisa was taught in the days of Rebbe, meaning this idea that we don't accept back the item which is stolen, we don't accept back the ribbis, the interest, that was taught taught in the days of Rebbe. Why? The Tanya, as we learned in a Braisa, Ma'aseh b'adam echad, there was an incident with one person, Shabikesh lasos teshuva, that he wanted to do teshuva for that which he stole. Amar le'ishto, so his wife said to him, Reika, empty person, imatos teshuva, if you would try to do teshuva, afilu avneit eno shalcha, even the belt that you have is not yours. You have so many things that you would have to return. V'nimna v'lo asa teshuva, so therefore he refrained and he didn't bother doing teshuva. And so therefore, Ba'osa Shah, at that time, Amru, they said, Hagazlonin, Umalve Ribios, those who steal, those who lend for interest, Shechzir, if they try to return what they stole, if they try to return the interest, Ein Mekavlim Mehem, we don't accept it from them. V'amekavlim Mehem, and one who does accept it from them, Ein Ruach Chachamim Nocha Himenu, again, the spirit of the Chachamim is not pleased with what he is doing, and so that's the idea. That's why we don't accept back from Gazlonim, from Malve Beribis, we don't allow them to return what they stole, we don't allow them to return the interest. The Mefarshim do discuss exactly when this applies. Was it only a temporary idea in the days of Rebbe, or was it more expanded? That is discussed within the Mefarshim. In any case, the Gemara continues. Meisvei, we have the following question. We have a contradiction to this brisa. Another brisa says, "Hiniach lemaviyim mos shel ribis." Let's say their father left to them. The father died, and he left money of ribis with those who inherited him. Afal pi shein yodin shein ribis. Even though the sons know that this is ribis, ein chayavin lahachzer. They're not obligated to return the ribis. And so the Gemara says, Inuhu delo. They, because they are just Yorshim, they're not obligated to return the ribis. Ha'aviyim chayiv lahachzer, but it sounds like their father would have been obligated to return the ribis, and therefore you see we do accept the returning of ribis. And the Gemara says to that, Bedinhu daviyam nami eno chayiv lahachzer. Really, the father also did not need to return it. V'hadikatani b'ditu, and the only reason this brisa is speaking about the Yorshim, mishum dekaboy lemisne seif, it's because we want to learn something at the end specific to the Yorshim. It says, Hiniach lemaviyim para vitalis v'chol davar hamesuyim. If their father left them a cow or a talis or something specific, so then chayavin lahachzer, then they do have to return it mipnei kavod aviyim, because of the honor of their father. And therefore, since we want to talk about them specifically in the Seifa, so Tana Reisha Nami Biditu. So we talk in the Reisha also in terms of the Yarshim. But the Gemara continues to the Adam, just because of the honor to their father, they're now obligated to return it. Ikri kan v'nasi ba'amcha losar. We should apply over here the rule that you're not supposed to curse a nasi ba'amcha in your nation, meaning ba'osa ma'isa amcha, meaning you only care about that when he's doing the proper deeds in accordance with the laws of your nation. But if the nasi is acting improperly, this doesn't apply, and the same would be true here. If the father is doing something improper, in this case, he's lending ribis, etc. So then why is there kavod avim? Why do they have to show this respect to their father and return these items? And the Gemara says to that, Kedamar Rav Pinchas, it's like Rav Pinchas said in another context, B'sha'asa tshuva. We're talking about someone who did teshuva. Hachanam here also B'sha'asa tshuva. We're talking about a situation where the father did teshuva, and therefore there is an idea of kavod avim, and they should return these specific items. And the Gemara says to that, Yasa teshuva, if he did do teshuva, if he did repentance, my boy Gabe, why does he still have the items? And the Gemara says, he boy leila dure, he should have returned the items. And the Gemara says to that, Shelo hispik lahachzir ad shemes, he didn't have a chance to return them, and then he died, so since he didn't have the opportunity, now the Yorshim will return those items. And Rashi explains, Ein chayav and lahachzir, again, the Yarshim don't need to return it. It's written, V'heshav es hagzela asher gazal, it says you have to return the item that was stolen, V'hani lo gazal midi, they didn't steal anything. On the contrary, the kaninu b'shina rishus, they actually acquired it through the change of ownership. V'kasav rishus yoresh k'rishus lokech dami, this brisa holds that when it goes to the yoresh, that's like going to some new rishus, as if somebody bought it. Hamesuyim, but if it's a specific item, davar hanikr l'rab, something that everybody recognizes, Zuhi shagazal ploni, v'hini chali Yarshim, this is the item that so-and-so stole and left it over to his Yarshim. So in that case, again, the item does need to be returned. And the Gemara continues, Tashma, coming here a proof from another brisa, Hagazlonim u'malve beribis, those who steal, those who lend for interest, Afal pisha gavu, even though they collect, Machzir, and still it is to be returned. And the Gemara clarifies, Gazlonin ma'isha gavu ika, what does it mean that the thieves are collecting? What does that even mean? I gazel gazel, v'lo gazel lo gazel. If it's stolen, it's stolen. If it's not stolen, it's not stolen. What does that have to do with collecting? And so the Gemara explains, Ela Ema, rather say as follows. Here's what the Bryce is actually saying. Hagazlonin, those who steal. Umayniu, and what kind of thieves are we talking about? Malve ribius, we're talking about people who lend for interest. Afal pishagavu, even though they already collected, it's talking about the fact that they collected the interest, machzirin, they should return the interest. And so you see over here that they do return it. And we said before that you're not supposed to accept it when they return it. And the Gemara says, Amri, the answer to that, Machzirin, no, they do return it. However, Ve'in Makablin Mehem, however, we don't accept it from them. Elalama Machzirin, so if that's the case, why are they returning it? Lot says Yedei Shamayim, they're trying to be Yotze, to fulfill their obligation, their heavenly obligations. And the Gemara continues, Tashma, coming here a proof from another brayso, Haroim v'hagaboyin v'hamuchsin, the shepherds, and these are various kinds of tax collectors. So these people are stealing, and they don't really know who they stole from. The shepherds' animals are going all over the place. The gaboyin and the muchsin, they're taking things they shouldn't be taking, but again, from so many people, they wouldn't be able to return it. So the brayso says, to shuvas and kash, it's difficult for them to do tshuva. Umachzirin l'makirin, and they should return to those that they recognize if they know that they stole from someone in particular. And so we see over here again, there is a concept of returning it. We said before that it's not accepted. And the Gemara continues, Amri, they answer as they said above, Machzir, and they return it, Vein Mekablan Mehem, but we don't accept it from them. V'yelalam Machzir, and again, so why are they returning it if we're not accepting it? Lot says Yedei Shamayim, again, is to fulfill their heavenly obligations. They're offering to return it, but we don't necessarily accept. And the Gemara continues, Yachi, if so, Amai Teshuvas and Kasha. If that's the case, so why is it difficult for them to do tshuva if there really is no concept that we're even going to accept what they're returning? V'yonin further, Ema Seifa, look at the end, V'she'ein Makirin, it says that if they don't recognize who they stole from, Yasa behen sarchet tzibur, so then they should do things that are going to help the community in general. V'yamar Rav Chisda says, Boros, Shichin, Umaros, that refers to pits, to cisterns, to caves, things that, areas where water is collected, again, the community can benefit. And so here you see a concept that they do have to return that which they took. And so the Gemara continues, Ella rather lokash, it's not difficult, you have to answer in a different fashion. Answer as follows, Kan kodem takona, kan lachar takona. In one case we're talking before the takona. Again, we said that it was Rebbe who instituted this idea that we shouldn't accept from the gazlonim, we shouldn't accept the returned items, but that was the takona that was made. Before the takona, we did accept it, and so it could be this brisa takes place before the takona, but then after the takona again, we don't accept the items. And the Gemara continues, V'hashta dam Rav Nachman, and now that Rav Nachman said, V'she'ein gezela kayemis, that we're talking specifically when the stolen item is not around, meaning even the takana is only when the stolen item is no longer. But if the stolen item is present right in front of us, then even Rebbe would agree that the people that were stolen from, that were taken from, could accept it back. So then afilu tema, then you could even say, Idi v'idi la'achar takana, both brises are talking after the takana of Rebbe, v'lo and it's not difficult. And we will continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Tzadi Hey Amud Aleph.